Good afternoon and welcome to KTN News. My name is Ian Ofula. We do have a packed bulletin lined up just for you. Kenya is mourning the death of one of the greatest comedians in the country has ever known. Mzee Ojwang Hatari is no more. Not many knew him by his real name, Benson Wanjau. Well, our reporter Sharon Mumanyi is currently at his home in Botela, Nairobi, and she joins us live for an update. Sharon, just tell us what is currently happening there.
Ian, yes, a very somber mood here at his home in Botela, where we've just met his widow, Augusta Wanjiru. And what is happening is that a few people are streaming in just to send their message of condolences. And we've seen a number of comedians just passing by to do just that. And we spoke to some of them earlier on, Ian, saying that they are mourning one of their own. And in fact, many Kenyans have been sending their message of condolences on the social media. And earlier on, we spoke to some of them on the streets of Nairobi, saying that he is in fact a fallen hero, one that, really celebrated, a veteran, having, been the first ones in this industry, first comedians, and many people would remember him at the formative stages of this industry. And just speaking to some of the comedians who came by his home here just to pass their message, and what they're saying is they're a bit disappointed that Mzee Ojwang had one wish that had expressed to the government, that he, as well as the other comedians, wished to meet with the President, Uhuru Kenyatta, just to present their grievances and, hopes as of what would make the acting industry, particularly that comedy part of the industry, better. But he did not manage to see his wish come to pass at the time of his dying. So really a disappointment by his colleagues, Ian.
Well, Sharon, this is not the first time Mzee Ojwang's condition perhaps is coming to the limelight. You covered him back in March. How was that like?
Yeah. Yes, remember in March he also hit the headlines because he was suffering from a long illness. He had an eye infection that had lasted for a very long time, and what particularly made his case hit the headlines is because he was not able to meet the cost of his treatment, and Kenyans were just decrying that a hero of his standards, somebody who really was the first people to be celebrated on this front, not being able to list as much as pay his medical bills. And that's what really made people talk at that time. And we saw the government coming in just to clear his bills. We also saw the Senator of Nairobi, Mike Sonko, also coming in at that time. And the comedians really, as much as they appreciated it at that time, that kind of intervention, still say that there needs to be a long-standing form of appreciation for these actors, saying that their kind of compensation and remunerations need to be more. So the conversation did not end at that time, and that's what we hear from them, even as they come to console and condole with the family of the late Benson Wanjau, Ian.
Well, Sharon, you've described Mzee Ojwang as a hero. Are you kind of feeling this sense where you are right now?
Yes, Ian. As I mentioned, some of the comedians are coming by. As at now, no government officials have come to condole with the family just yet, but we know it's just hours since he died, so we don't want to say that they are not, condoling with the family. And we've seen an outpour of the same. You can really feel that kind of emotional kind of touch that it has had on people, and people who are just a particular person I spoke to saying that he remembers Ojwang for bringing their family together because they always sat and watched the programs that he acted in, that's including Vitimbi and Vioja Mahakamani, and for him, he remembers him as the one person, as well as the other cast of these programs, that brought them together as a family for a time to just sit and laugh. So great memories that the public has of him, Ian, and he says that they're not going to forget him anytime soon.
Thank you very much for that update, Sharon Mumanyi, coming to us live from Botela Estate, just right outside the home of Mzee Ojwang, where currently some of the comedians are meeting there to see what to plan next. Now, Kenyans from all walks of life can remember watching Mzee Ojwang acting on the famous Vitimbi skit on the national broadcaster. The late comedian provided entertainment that was appreciated by by different generations and could be enjoyed in a family setting. We took to the streets to just get what Kenyans had to say about his passing on.
By the way, hii ni pigo kubwa sana kwa Kenya kwa sababu tume lose a hero. He's a hero and a mentor of many. By the way, tuko na shida kuluzi mtu kama huyo kwa sababu amementa watu wengi sana.
Nashangaa sana vile nimepata report ya kwamba ametuacha. Ningeomba serikali iangalie saidi zote mbili kwa ajili ni mtu amejulikana. Hata kwa saizi mimi mtoto wangu akisikia hayuko kwa ajili muda kwa muda uniuliza. Siku hizi mzojo wangu tumuoni kwa TV. Hajapona, nikamwambia hajapona. Sasa leo nimeshangaa sana. Ningeomba serikali katika hao watu wote wa sarakasi, unajua yeye ni mmoja wa sarakasi. Yaani angeziko ile kiheshima.
Heshima natakana tu apatiwe heshima yake kama mzee na kama mwenye alianzisha hiyo kazi. Lakini sioni kama kuna kitu kingine atakana afanywe kwa sababu kazi kuna ile kazi mtu unaweza huwa umeajiriwa na umeongea kuhusu vile unataka ukiretire utapewa nini kama utakuwa ulijiwekea mwenyewe, hiyo ndio natakana utumie.
Alikuwa mchezaji wa kipindi cha vitimbi and since nilikuwa mdogo I used to follow that program religiously na tuna huzuni sana kwa kumpoteza mzee Ojwang, kwa familia yake condolences, but he will forever remain in our souls.
Let's just move away from that a bit for now. And 25 years ago, hundreds of Kenyans took to the streets to protest a constitutional amendment that scrapped out multi-party democracy in Kenya. Many politicians, lawyers, activists and religious leaders were arrested and detained for censoring the move by President Daniel Arap Moi's government. More than 20 people were killed as the protests turned violent and police moved in to control the chaos. That day came to be known as Saba Saba, and the month of July remained historic in Kenya's journey towards constitutional reform. Starting tonight, KTN revisit that era through the memories of political detainees and those who took part in the protests. Join our senior reporter Zubeida Kananu today at 8 p.m. in her special documentary Kurunzi ya Saba Saba.
Tulikuwa na katiba nzuri wakati wa independence, wakati tulipatiwa uhuru.
Kenya ilikuwa ni multi-party state. Tulikuwa na vyama vingi vya siasa. Lakini katiba ikapinduliwa. Ikawa Kenya ni nchi ya party moja tu. Party inaitwa KANU.
Na mimi na wenzangu tukashtakiwa kwa kupanga majaribio ya kupindua serikali.
Ile mbaya zaidi ni ile mateso ya kundungwa kwa sindano kwa sehemu za asili.
Wakati hiyo time ilikuwa one party states na the freedom of press haikuwa.
Maybe my energy is not really me.
Be sure to catch that piece. Well, the hope by Kenyan teachers to have their pay increase implemented from this month may just be thwarted by the employer. The Teachers Service Commission argues that the ruling by the Industrial Court to increase the teachers' pay to a tune of 50 to 60% is unrealistic. This latest disagreement indicates that the long-standing disagreement between the two parties is yet to end. Sharon Mumanyi reports.
A celebration by the teachers soon after the Employment and Labor Relations Court made the landmark ruling on their grievances on the 30th of June, but the celebrations may be brought to naught as the employer, the TSC, seeks to block the ruling from being implemented. TSU argues that the ruling, which would cost the state 238 billion shillings, up from 119 billion per year, is unrealistic. They also say that this has not been factored in the 2015-2016 budget. Speaking to journalists last week, NAT officials stated that they would not take this lying down. Their argument that government wanted the court to do the arbitration, and now government must respect and abide by the court ruling. But what can be seen to be ironic is that the TSC itself had initially tabled the 50 to 60% pay rise at a lower court. The same TSC now says that this is unattainable. The wrangles between the teachers and the government over their salary and allowances spans over a decade, and the ruling by the industrial court was set to put this to an end. The teachers have threatened to use the one tool they have always used should the ruling not be implemented this month, that is, a nationwide strike. Sharon Momanyi, KTN News.
And 3 months after the terror attack on Garissa University College, the university is now set to reopen officially yesterday. Kenyans from different parts of the country joined Garissa residents in solidarity for an emotional ceremony ahead of the reopening of the university. They held an overnight vigil in the dormitories where 148 people were killed. Thereafter, they held a public meeting with the locals seeking their support. Already, some of the members of the staff of the university have returned to work, and the administration has deployed security personnel within the institution.
The university was so important to the community, especially the northern community. This is the only university here in Garissa. So there is a neglect, and we really had the government to reopen the university so that life will continue.
We have agreed that we are going to open a police post in the college with about 10 security men. We already provided housing. We also provide other things that they require. And we're going to have a police post here. That's what we have agreed so far.
Well, earlier on in the day, I had an opportunity to talk to Zeo Juang's widow, and just let us listen in to what she had to say. Moment here. We've just lost a Kenyan hero, a veteran actor, and we're just moments away from talking to the wife who has spent years with him, just to see through her eyes how it has been for the past many years until his demise yesterday, when doctors say that he succumbed to pneumonia. The wife, Augusta Wanjiru, joins us. Asante sana mam, na pole sana kwa kilichotokea. Tukiongea nawe hapo awali ulikuwa unaniambia kuwa hii wiki imekuwa mzee alibadilika kidogo. Nini ilifanyika?
Hata siwezi kuelewa kwa vile sasa mimi nilikuwa nampa tu chakula mzuri. Sasa sijui ni saitani gani alimuingilia.
Ngoja kidogo. Pole. Shit. Sorry, we do apologize for that. And looking at the shilling performance, which is currently struggling against the US dollar. In early morning, the shillings hit a new low, weakening to 102.50 cents against the dollar, having closed Friday's trading at 101.85 cents. Dollar demanding from the telecom, manufacturing and energy sector is seen to be putting pressure on the shilling. Currency traders say the shilling is expected to remain under pressure in coming days, hurt by a wide current account deficit and scarce tourism receipts due to dwindling visitors' numbers. This is further causing the shilling to weaken. I just want to bring in our business editor, Michael Karanja, to explain to us what this means. Karanja, why is the shilling weakening?
Well, it's a combination of things that is happening to the shilling right now. And even when I was just leaving my desk, I was checking the Bloomberg terminal, and I think we even crossed over into 103.10 again, 103 shillings and 10 cents against to the US dollar. So it just means that the demand right now for the shilling is really hurting the Kenya shilling and the US dollar pairing at the moment. When we look back to what's been happening globally, is that the US the US dollar is actually strengthening on a global front, so that is actually just putting pressure on us. But the current account deficit that we were talking about in the story is what actually is actually straining us further. Looking at what was there last week, we saw the current account deficit was at about 59%. Even the trade deficit rather was at 59%. So that just shows you that our level of imports is far exceeding what we're able to export. So that's also, there's a mismatch in whatever the amount of dollars that we're able to get. Yeah.
And Karanja, what are some of the issues that are leading to the weakening of the shilling?
Yeah, like I was saying, the strengthening of the US dollar, but also what we need to remember is that what seems to be actually surprising to the further weakening is that just last week the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee actually met, and for the second time in almost 2 months hiked the benchmark lending rate, which is referred to as the central bank rate, to 11.5% from as low as 8.5%, something that hadn't been changed in over 14 months. So that was expected to give us a bit of cushioning for the shilling, but that seems the effects of that don't seem to have translated into the dollar and shilling trade. So we are still waiting to see. So when that doesn't take effect, and we still see the pressures internationally, and we still know what's happening in the Eurozone in as far as Greece is concerned, when we put all those things into place, it's hard to see the shilling actually strengthening in the short run.
So what does this basically mean for Wanjiru on the streets?
So for Wanjiru, for what's going to happen is that if you are buying, let's even put it into context. If you're going to combine, you're buying things even second hand, and you're buying a container or a bale at let's put it roughly at $100. So if it was costing you 96 or 98 shillings to the dollar, what, about 2-3 months ago, now it's going to cost you $102. And if you go into the forex market where actually they're selling at about 103, 104, that just shows you that for the same amount that you're going for, you have to spend more. So that means that either you're going to import less, or you're actually going to have to go out and look for more. And if that happens, pass on the effect or the knock-on effects of that to the consumer. So that means that consumer prices are likely to go up in the short run. What we expect, actually looking out forward to tomorrow, is actually when the fuel prices come out, we are going to see if that weakening of the shilling has further effect, because we've seen the fuel prices go up in the last 2 months. So if that trend continues, well, we are waiting to see the first full effects of a weakening shilling tomorrow when the fuel prices are announced.
And maybe Karanja, just before I let you go, how can we save this situation?
Well, it's a free market, so we've seen in the past the Central Bank of Kenya coming into the market to mop up excess liquidity. I'm not sure if they've come into the market today, but we're still waiting to see. Right now what's happening is that it's natural, so we're just waiting to see for how further the shilling can weaken, because if you remember 2011, when it was more or less, people say it was something of our own making, when it fell to about 107 shillings. The circumstances right now are totally different. So it's a matter of just seeing how resilient the Kenyan shilling can be.
Thank you very much, Michael Karanja, joining us there just to give us a brief preview of what and why the Kenyan shilling is weakening. But of course, there's more on that discussion later for our viewers on KTN News, who shall be continuing on Business. And that marks the end of this bulletin. However, for our viewers on KTN News, we continue right after the break. My name is Yen Ofula. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.